up? BigHerc916, positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know how we do it over here. This news story popped up on my feed, man, and I want to share it with you guys. It's about Southern California, and I'm always talking about different little things that I've seen going down in California, and just the whole uh, out of control crime situation, and people just not having any moral compass as far as, you know, it used to be crimes were limited to a certain area, but it's no longer like that. This happened in Simi Valley, and Simi Valley in Southern California used to be one of the safest cities because a lot of law enforcement lived in Simi Valley, and you didn't want to mess around out there. You get caught doing something out there, and it was game over. You know, you don't want to mess around in Simi Valley. But now, even Simi Valley, and I've already talked about Beverly Hills, but Simi Valley is not off limits for, you know, crime. Check it out.
Everything, everything, bro. Okay. That's all the customers, bro. Man, open the door. I gotta go.
Everything in our store seemed normal, and when he opened the safe, there was just a hole leading to my neighbor's store.
This is how the burglars got in. The thieves cutting a hole in the roof of the neighboring candy shop to get inside. This is surveillance video of one of the burglars army crawling through that shop before cutting their way through the wall of five-star jewelry. That included concrete and 8 inches of the safe itself. The thieves getting away with about $2 million, if not more, in cash and merchandise, including customers' jewelry that they were working on. All this happening as the father, Jacob, is getting ready to retire. His son, Jonathan, describing the break-in as life-altering.
Everything that he built for me and my family is now gone. His retirement is gone. My future and my children's future is now needing to be rebuilt.
While that alone is difficult, he says the biggest loss is losing his customers' heirloom jewelry that he simply can't fully replace. For that, they're asking for patience and grace from the community as they figure out next steps. But already, they are feeling that support.
Right when we think we've hit the bottom, of where we could be emotionally, someone comes in, a customer offers us kind words, some semblance of hope is restored in me, as far as the community is really backing us, and our customers are the best customers you can possibly have.
And that response bringing Jonathan to tears as he spoke to us.
So these guys cut through the roof of the store next door to the jewelry store, and were able to, military crawl on the floor and get into a room and cut through, it looks like over 6 to 8 inches of cement and then steel to get into the safe. And you see that hole they had in the safe. Now, my question is, how did they know what room to go to get to the safe, and how did they know the location of the safe? We look at, okay, the crime, but these type of crimes, right? One or two things, right? You have just a random somebody happened to know somebody that knows somebody that worked there, and they're no longer working there, or a relative or something, and they tell you where this stuff is at, and you know exactly how to move on it. And two, you have somebody that works there, and they're looking at the business is not as profitable as it appears to be, and you're talking about insurance and what it's insured for. Now, to the average person, they don't really think about using insurance unless they actually get into an accident or something happens, a natural disaster. But insurance is a big hustle. When you have businesses that have valuables, you have buildings, you see, people have buildings, and the buildings, they can't rent them out. Oh, some homeless set fire to that building. The insurance, kicks in, and man, they're in the good. They lost damages. They had this much product in there, whatever the case may be. this stuff happens more than you guys know. I mean, and more that's reported. Everybody sees the story about, oh my God, I lost my property, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of these places have insurance, and insurance is a big hustle. And you know, and looking at this one, they saying they lost all this, you know, all this jewelry and possessions, but I'm like trying to figure out, well, damn, how they even, if they didn't go inside the store and they cut through the wall and they put their hand through that hole and were able to just pull all that stuff out of there, how the hell did they know to do that? It to me is baffling because you're going, you don't have, you know, okay, somebody drew you up a blueprint or a map of that store, and then you know they gave you a blueprint of the store next door and show and gave you and let you know like, hey, this wall is connected to this wall, the safe is on this wall, you cut a hole this big, depending on how big your arm is, you can reach in there and pull all the stuff out. And like, you know, a lot of the safes, you look at the safe, typically they have shelves in them, they have maybe lock boxes, whatever in there. How were you able to pull all that stuff through there, through that other hole and get it up out of there? I'm not saying that that's, you know, an inside job, but to me, that's how I look at when I look at the, you know, reverse engineering this whole robbery and how somebody knew just to go to that room to get that. It's just a little bit suspect to me. If it's suspect to you, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And I would like to get you guys' feedback on this because, you know, like I said, Simi Valley, I've heard this, you know, going downhill too. Somebody told me they were just out there recently and they're starting to have, you know, the homeless, the graffiti on the walls. You know, and Simi Valley, like I said, used to be very clean, a very safe place. You know, you didn't do anything stupid out there because the cops would bust your ass. But now it seems like everywhere in Southern California is open season, including Simi Valley. But let me know what you guys think. I would like to hear your input on this and whether or not you think like, man, this is crazy. Because like I said, they didn't even go in. The safe wasn't open from the front. It was a hole cut in the side through a wall. Man, a lot of questions on this. BigHerc916.
Officially, I only got one real spanking my entire life. My mom did the best a 14-year-old could do, raising me with love and instilling values that will last a lifetime. I was a straight A student and lived to make her happy. So how did I go astray? A horrible stepdad that stole my self-worth and invoked fear turned me into a person that I struggled to overcome. From skateboarding to selling drugs, gang banging in juvenile hall, I got caught the same way many young promising men get caught up. I struggled to find my identity, getting mixed up in shootouts, crime, and the adult entertainment industry. This roller coaster continued as I juggled college, hustling, and Hollywood, eventually catching a federal bank robbery case. I found redemption in prison while serving a 120-month federal sentence and came out a man on a mission. I became a social media influencer with over 500 million views on YouTube and a life coach mentoring people all over the world. This is my journey against all odds.
Pick up a limited edition GTA poster signed by me for $10, or with your purchase of a Wig Splitter Porsche t-shirt, I'll throw in a free poster signed by me for you.